Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe. If you dare.
Right after our first kiss he said, "I'm not looking to get married." "Neither am I replied. "So anyway, we're married now." Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. Reddit, what's your anyways, we're married now story?
Number 1.
First time I met my wife was Halloween. I was sitting out a year of college working, but I went to a costume party at my old fraternity. I was pretty stupid drunk, pretty early. Somehow I ended up in my buddy Eric's room watching TV by myself. This girl barges in the room, looks at me and says, "You're not Eric." To which I reply, "Neither are you." Turns out her roommate was hot for Eric but too shy to go talk to him, so her roommate decided to go find him. 2 weeks later, the room barger and I got set up on a double date with Eric and the roommate. That was in 1991. Now we have 3 kids and our youngest is having our first grandkid in December.
Number 2.
Commenter. Friend of mine in high school who looked suspiciously similar to a friend I had in kindergarten. One day, I knew her name, in kindergarten and she looked a lot like you. Yeah, I also knew my name, and they had exactly your hairstyle. We looked deep into each other's eyes. Oh. Person B. When I was dating a girl in high school we were going through some old family albums of mine from preschool. She's flipping through and says, "Why do you have this photo of me?" And I look and say, "Because that's a photo of me." Turns out we were in the same preschool class and had met over a decade before. We grew up on opposite sides of town and met again at a camp in 8th grade.
Number 3.
Commenter. The first time I really hung out with this guy he threw up all over me. Anyways, we're married now. It was back in my wild days, which consisted of 4 weeks and 4 college parties. Now when I say college parties, we were in a very small city, if you can even call it a city, so these parties were nothing like you see at large universities. Anyways, he came to a party I was at, and I was pretty tipsy and really needed to use the ladies' room, but there were people passed out in there so I couldn't. He offered to take me to his apartment to use his bathroom, then bring me right back since he was sober and lived in the same apartment complex. I didn't think it was a good idea since I didn't know him, but everyone else there, drunk and sober, said he was safe, so I went. Side note, he was pet sitting a neighbor's cat, so I got to play with them for a few minutes too. The next weekend we hung out with a smaller group of people. We all were taking shots of Russian vodka, and he wasn't really into it. The other guys pressured him to take it, so he took it back, and as soon as it hit his tongue he puked a little over me. Lol. We've been inseparable ever since. Person B. Took my now fiancé to a Chinese place that has my ties for $5. He threw up all over the bathroom of the place while I sang karaoke. I insisted he wasn't driving his car home. I walked him to my car, with his pants falling off. Anyways, he threw up and got vom beans in my tape deck, and we're engaged now. I'm still mad about the tape deck, though I have a different car now. I still had so many days I couldn't play my tapes. For clarification, he had a burrito for lunch, so that's why it was straight beans in my car. He doesn't drink much anymore.
Number 4.
Commenter. Met a new coworker, and our first interaction was me saying "I don't believe you" under my breath as I walked by. He thought I said "I don't like you." Anyways, we're married now. Person B. Similar story. My first day, a coworker came up and told me my footwear was inappropriate for work, and I remember thinking, listen to this butthole. Less than a year later we were living together, married within 2.5 years.
Number 5.
Commenter. Right after our first kiss he said, "I'm not looking to get married." "Neither am I replied. "So anyway, we're married now." His last relationship before me was one of the must get married now to fit everything into my life plan types. She married the next guy she dated. I had just gotten to a place where I was ready to date again, so I was not looking to fast track anything. Then, we fell head over heels for each other. He was definitely not afraid of commitment, but he was afraid that he would somehow lose part of himself if he got married. I was happy just dating forever, as long as I could be with him. After about 5.5 years of dating, we moved in together and agreed that we would discuss marriage after a year. He proposed 2 weeks later. It was a total surprise to me. I said yes without even looking at the ring. It was a plastic ring out of a gumball machine. The answer was still yes. Both our families are super old school, so while we weren't opposed to moving in together, the parents frowned on it. As soon as we announced we were moving in together, my dad swore we would never get married. Ha! We also were long distance for a year and a half because he got a job across the country and I couldn't afford to move until I found a job out here too. Long distance is usually the death knell for a relationship, but it helped us grow closer. We Skyped every night and it helped us focus on communicating better without environmental distractions. In the end, I'm happy that we took our time with everything because when we got married we had absolutely no doubts. Person B. A girl once told me she didn't want to go out because she didn't want to date anyone she couldn't see herself marrying, and she, her words, genuinely didn't think there was a man out there who she could see herself marrying. Married 5 months later. Person C. After our first kiss someone walked by and said, "Hey, I knew you two were dating," and in my drunken stupor I allegedly responded with, "People kiss all the time at parties, it's nothing." Well, that was 10 years ago, and 5 years of marriage and 2 kids later. Person D. Mine is similar. We were already friends, I was visiting town and we ended up snuggling on the couch watching a movie. We're not going to date, right? Long distance would be bad. Oh, definitely. So anyway, we're married now. Person E. That's about like mine. Told her I just wanted to hook up. After that she asks what we are. After that I helped her move out of her dorm room, and had lunch with her parents, all of this within the span of 12 hours. Anyway, we're married now.
Number 6.
He came to the door to borrow my sister's textbook. No one would answer the door, so I dragged myself out of bed, and answered the door in nightgown and curlers. Hey, it was the early 80s, okay? He told me he was there to see my sister. Without a word I nodded, turned around and screamed "Sister," turned back around, said family intercom system completely deadpan, and left him standing on the porch while I went back to bed. Married me anyway, 38 years on the 21st.
Number 7.
When I was 13, I met a girl, Debbie, at summer camp. She talked about her horses and attending the big interstate fair every year with her 4-H group. On my 13th birthday I went to the fair and looked Debbie up. She agreed to go to the carnival with me, but wasn't all that interested. I can't blame her, 13-year-old me was a dweeb. She brought along her annoying girlfriend Renee to keep me from getting too fresh, which worked. I was determined to get Debbie alone, not that I knew exactly why, so I took the girls on the tip-top ride. Renee got sick, got off the ride, and puked. Debbie and Renee used that as an excuse to split, and I never saw Debbie again. 3 years later, a beautiful new girl with long black hair moved out on my school bus line. I was immediately interested, and began a much smoother conversation. We went out a couple weeks later, and went to a carnival. She took me on the tip-top, and I puked. That girl was Renee. We were both 3 years older, and anyways, we're married now, for 41 years.
Number 8.
I had just started dating this guy, and he came over to hang out. My roommate was bitching about her coworker Pam. So I said, "Who names their kid Pam anyway? F bitch is named Pam." My date says my mom's name was Pam. His dead mom. Anyways, we're married now.
Number 9.
Commenter. I tripped and rolled down a hill, embarrassing myself in front of my girlfriend and her roommate. Anyways, the roommate and I are married now. Person B. Last day of school. Dad packed my lunch, which I promptly forgot on the kitchen counter. As I'm at the front gate, I shoot you not, he comes out in his underwear, my name, "Wait up, you forgot your lunch." I hate my dad. Kids walking past on their way to school literally burst out laughing. Whatever, they've been laughing since I can remember. But I have a plan to totally impress them and my crush. They're not gonna laugh anymore. Continue on my way. Kids rejoicing about the end of school. Kids saying they're gonna move to the mall, or live in the pool. I'm just wanting to talk to my crush without feeling like a fool. After today, I hope she won't just look right through me. I don't blame her. I'm boring, dorky, and just a complete goof. Get to school. Everyone is literally singing and dancing about the fact that after today they're done with school for the summer. I remember a baton twirler throwing her baton in the air and catching it with her mouth. Decide to sit on the bleachers and contemplate my plan before school, wishing that this was the day after today. Bell rings, I start to climb down the steps. I bust my ass falling down the stairs. Someone asks, "Are you okay?" It's my crush. I can only manage to let out an ah-hayak. Anyway, I throw my principal down a trapdoor on stage and sing Powerline to the entire student body including my crush. Whole school loves me. So glad I was able to stand out above the crowd. Anyway, now we're married.
Number 10.
Commenter. My boyfriend cheated on me with a girl his roommate introduced him to. The roommate felt bad when he found out that I had not in fact been broken up with first, and told me what had been going on. Anyways, we're married now. 8 years married, second child arriving in 6 weeks. Person B. My ex cheated on me with his best friend who was a girl. Her ex-boyfriend who was staying around her to keep her out of trouble due to her mental illness asked me to the movies to make me smile for once. He was the kindest and gentlest man I had ever met. Anyways, we've been married 14 years and have 2 kids. Number 11. So my brother's college roommate called me for legal advice because his crazy ex was being super crazy. Anyway, we're married now, 7 years come November. 2 kids and a house. It happened like this. Hey, got your number from your brother. Remember, we all chilled a few times. Remember my crazy ex? Oh, hey. Sure. Which crazy ex? The one who stabbed you, or the one who stabbed others, or the one who stabbed herself? The one who stabbed me. Twice. Oh yeah. She sure was crazy. She sent me a letter accusing me of criminal stuff I didn't do. And demanding I pay tens of thousands of dollars or she'll send her new, even crazier cop BF after me. Bummer. You're the only attorney I know. Can you tell me what to do? I cannot. I am an insurance attorney. You need a crazy people attorney. I don't do crazy. I'm allergic. Okay, but I am freaking out. Can I take you to Chili's and discuss? Sure. But I will tell you that you need a different lawyer. A few days later. Thanks for the tacos. You need a different lawyer. A few months later. We should probably tell my brother we're dating. This sitting on the opposite sides of the room on Super Bowl Sunday thing is weird now that we are boning exclusively. A few months after that. Dude, your stuff is here and you work remotely. Why commute? Here's a drawer, I won't stab you. A few months after that. If you want a 400 people wedding this fall, we gotta book a venue pronto. A year after that. If this pregnancy is twins, I may stab you. It wasn't twins. No stabbing was had. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.